You don't need an expensive camera to make your footage look like this. When I first started out, I spent years making mistakes, thinking that better gear was the answer. But today, I'm going to show you 5 key elements of filmmaking that don't require any new gear and completely change the way my footage looks. This is the video that I wish I had when I was just starting out. By the end of this journey, you'll know exactly how to capture better shots, and I will also reveal the secret sauce. But we need to start at the beginning for all of it to make sense. So here is lighting. There are certain times of the day when colors and atmosphere create more emotion than others. Not only because of how they look, but because of how they feel. On a clear sunny day, the light is steady and constant, but often it's missing depth. This is why I try to aim for anything later in the day, closer to sunset. Also, because a lot of time during sunrise, I like to be doing this. This time of the day, the sun is much lower in the sky, and the warmer colors that reach us feel more nostalgic. Maybe subconsciously, we know they only last for so long, and they feel more special. Speaking of special, my favorite time to shoot is blue hour. It feels very calm and quiet, and these deep blues bring a certain weight to the image. I just love the contrast that you can get during this time. Filming later in the day also helps with your camera settings. Most footage you see in this video is filmed at 24 frames per second. To match that look, your shutter speed should be around 1/50th of a second. This makes movement in your video look smooth and natural. In bright daylight, this setting will overexpose your image, but you can use an ND filter to compensate. One of my biggest inspirations when it comes to capturing natural light is not a cinematographer, but the romantic painter Caspar David Friedrich. The way he uses light and color to capture both the beauty and the emotion of nature is something that I've always tried to replicate in my work. Next up, composition. There's a simple change that you can make in the way you frame your shots that will instantly make them more cinematic. I'll share it in a second, but first, let me explain why composition is more than making things look pretty. The way you frame your image shapes the story and emotion. It also helps guide the viewer's eye to what matters most within your shot. This is why turning on the grid lines in your camera and learning about the rule of thirds is very important. And once you understand it well, you'll also know when breaking it and get more interesting results. I take a lot of inspiration from the director Wes Anderson. He is known for his style that is very symmetrical, and his movies feel like a painting rather than a three-dimensional space. I also love playing with negative space in my images. It just makes everything feel more clean and draw attention to my subject. Next up, we have color. When I talk about color, I don't just mean how I will end up grading my footage. While this is a huge part of my process, what I'm referring to is really starting to think more deeply about color while you're shooting. Pay attention to the colors that are already in your frame. From what your subject is wearing or small props against the background can really help shape the mood of your shot. A simple way to think about color is by using the color wheel. Colors that are next to each other, like blue and green, create a soft, harmonious look. Colors that are opposite of each other, like orange and teal, create contrast that make your subject pop. I want to share an example from my short film, Amelia. I used color to emphasize what the character is going through. When she talks about the things she loves about her life, the color palette is very bright and warm. Later in the film, she shares about painful memories from her past, and here the visuals shift to a cold, moody blue. If you pay more attention to details like this, you can really guide how the viewer experiences your footage. Next up is location. It sounds obvious, but shooting at the right location will make your footage better. Anything with a stunning view or a beautiful design will do half the work for you. And if you don't live close to places like that, use what you have and get a bit creative. Maybe bring your own prop or focus on small details instead of showing the whole location. Because playing with little things like that can make a simple location feel completely different on camera. If you made it all the way to the end, it's time to reveal the secret sauce. After so many years of filmmaking, I learned that the most important ingredient is emotion. I usually start by asking myself, what do I want the viewer to feel? And from there, every decision comes more easily. If I want my scene to feel calm, I shoot at blue hour. If I want more energy, I add movement and frame my shots differently. Over time, this starts to feel very natural. And that's the part of filmmaking that feels like magic. Don't fall into this trap that you need super expensive gear or new lenses or magical filters to improve your footage. If you focus on these 5 elements that I told you about today, you can drastically see an improvement in your footage. Before I go, I just want to acknowledge that this is the first time that I used a indoor lighting setup, and I've always been terrified to learn this because as someone who loves natural light and the outdoors, I never really wanted to deal with that, but I decided that it's time for me to grow up and learn about it. So yeah, thank you. I tried my best, and I know it's not perfect, but I'm trying. The video is over, but you can stay if you want. But this is kind of awkward. I mean, you could subscribe and comment, I love the secret sauce. Or watch another one of my videos. Thank you for watching.